The Galactic Council had classified humans as a Class 3 species, sentient, technologically competent, but ultimately harmless. Their assessment was based on standard observations. Humans were physically weaker than most spacefaring races, lacked natural weapons, and seemed prone to cooperation rather than conflict when first contacted. The human diplomatic contingent had been polite, eager to learn, and almost childlike in their wonder at joining the interstellar community. This classification amused Ambassador Trell of the Vorsic Empire. From behind his impressive height and naturally armored exoskeleton, he had taken to treating the human representatives with thinly veiled contempt. They are soft creatures. Trell often remarked to his aides. Look how they flinch at raised voices. They seek compromise where they should demand respect. The human delegation seemed to confirm this assessment. They smiled through insults, called aggression cultural differences, and yielded prime embassy locations and trading routes without protest. Many council species began to see humans as the perfect junior partners, technically equal but practically submissive. This perception changed during the Diplomatic Security Summit on Station Gamma 9. Major Tom Miller was not a diplomat. He was a Marine assigned to security detail for the human contingent, a precaution the Council had deemed unnecessary but humored anyway. Miller stood silently at the back of conference rooms, his weathered face impassive, his body still except for his eyes, which constantly scanned for threats. The incident began when Trade Minister Grek of the Helverin Collective deliberately spilled his caustic ceremonial drink onto the lap of the human Ambassador Davis. The liquid sizzled against the fabric, and though Davis maintained composure, his face tightened with pain. My apologies, Grek rumbled unconvincingly. Your species is so chumpy, it startles me. The room filled with the chittering sounds that passed for laughter among many council species. Davis forced a smile and excused himself to clean up. The human delegation departed with him, except for Major Miller, who remained at his post. Trell approached Miller, towering over him. Your diplomats flee so easily. Is this the way of all humans? Miller's expression didn't change. Ambassador Davis is changing his clothes. He'll return shortly. Do all humans hide from conflict? Trell pressed. Several other representatives drifted closer, eager to witness the humans' discomfort. We don't seek it, Miller replied evenly. Because you fear it, Grek interjected. We've studied your physiology. No claws, no natural armor, muscles that would be considered underdeveloped on an adolescent Helverin. Miller looked at them both, eyes calm. You've misunderstood humans entirely. Explain, Trell demanded, enjoying the spectacle. You think we're harmless because we're polite. You mistake diplomacy for weakness. Miller's voice remained level. You believe we avoid conflict out of fear. And this is incorrect? Grek's translator conveyed his mocking tone perfectly. It is. Miller straightened slightly. We avoid conflict because we're too good at it. The translator struggled with the idiom, but Trell's expression showed his derision. Preposterous. You've classified us based on our physical attributes, Miller continued, but you've missed our most dangerous quality, something we call rage. Rage, the word came through the translators as an unknown concept. It's a state where humans stop calculating odds of success, where pain becomes irrelevant, where our consciousness narrows to a single purpose, destroying what threatens us. Miller's eyes had not changed, his voice remained calm, but something in his stillness made several aliens step back. You speak of berserkers, one council member suggested. Many species have warriors who fight without fear. Miller shook his head. Not without fear, beyond reason. Every human carries this potential. The difference is just how far we must be pushed. He gestured toward the door where the human delegation had exited. Those diplomats you mock, they work tirelessly to prevent situations where humans feel truly threatened, where we might collectively decide that diplomacy has failed. You threaten the council? Trell's voice carried warning. No, I'm explaining why we value peace. Miller looked around the room. We've studied your histories. You fight for territory, for resources, for status. You fight until one side gains advantage, then negotiate. Logical, predictable. His gaze settled back on Trell. Humans fought wars of extermination against other humans, not for gain, not for territory, simply because rage demanded the enemy cease to exist. The room had grown utterly still. Our strength isn't in our bodies. It's in what happens when we decide winning matters more than surviving. Miller's voice remained conversational, which somehow made his words more disturbing. We developed weapons that could destroy our entire planet because some of us would prefer mutual extinction to surrender. An uncomfortable silence followed as the translations settled across the room. You've never seen humans fight for real, Miller concluded. Pray that you never do. When Ambassador Davis returned, he found the atmosphere dramatically changed. The mocking glances had disappeared. Trell and Grek maintained a conspicuous distance from the human delegation. That evening, Miller overheard Trell speaking urgently to the Council Security Committee. Reconsider the human classification immediately. Their diplomats aren't representatives, they're containment. 1 week later, the Galactic Council unanimously upgraded humans to Class 1 status, an unpredictable species capable of extraordinary violence when provoked. Human representatives received prime locations for their embassies. Trade agreements suddenly favored Earth significantly more than before. No one ever spilled drinks on Ambassador Davis again. And Major Miller returned to standing silently at the back of rooms, watching, saying nothing, exactly as he had before. The difference was that now, everyone watched him too, finally understanding what they were seeing. Not a bodyguard, but a warning.